What is up, disc golf fans? We are here for the 2025 Pro Master Worlds for the Pdga here in Minnesota, presented by ZÜCA. Another Pdga major event. A big shout out to all of our Patreon supporters. As always, I'm Derek and this is Chris, and big shout out that this commentary is weighed by Marshall Street. How you feeling, Chris?
I feel great. I am so happy to be up in the Twin Cities. There are some of my favorite courses, really. And big shout out to Gateway Disc Sports for sponsoring this coverage. And with our card, we're going to see the debut, Jeremy Koling, as well as the three-time Joe Rovere. Let's see if anyone can take him down. We have the local Danny Polk and the rounded out Mika from Finland. It's nice to see some international coverage, and yeah, a lot of people abroad coming over to the States for this Worlds.
Yeah, it's nice to see. Let's jump into hole one, par 3, 340. Going to be a slightly elevated green area with a protected area on that right-hand side. Joe Rovere, three-time, right?
I believe
now,
so.
3 in a row. Colorado native, which usually means you can throw pretty far.
Yeah, he did not win the long drive competition, but he was up near the top. So we'll be covering the MP40 division all week, and we're starting out at the iconic Blue Ribbon Pines.
Leaks a little right there, but pin high. Danny Polk, local legend. Danny was actually part of one of our first ever mic'd up practice rounds back in 2020.
Yeah, we had Luke Humphreys, Lucky, Kale, Danny.
Mika Laikko.
Oh, cool to see full circle here.
That was all the way in Arizona.
Yeah.
And Mika Laikko. I'm not even going to try to pronounce the town. Apologize for that.
Team Innova player. And we got to film him at the dubs that we'll be releasing later. And he's a baller. He's going to show that right here.
Wow.
Inside the circle. He's looking at a pretty easy birdie.
North Carolina, Jeremy Koling.
And Big Germ.
Fresh out of Iowa. Rushed over from the Des Moines Challenge to make it here.
And it's really cool to see the talent coming into the Masters. We see like Kale, Jeremy, Nate, Philo.
Oh, wind pushed that down quite a bit. Leaking to the left there, but it might be
CTP?
Yeah, not the furthest out, that's for sure.
Ooh, banded there by Joe. So he was here just 2 weeks ago for for the Majestic.
A little obstructed, but no, coming up low, short.
Micah now for a chance to start his round off taking a birdie and a stroke on the entire card.
These baskets are a new addition to the course as well. The RPM Helix, I believe.
Yeah, the RPM Helix baskets are kind of fun. I like how, and we'll see it throughout the coverage, is like when you don't catch the chains because it's like how the basket is. It's like a bowl, so it wraps around. It's fun. All right, we're going to move into hole 2, 450-foot par 4. One of the easier holes here, you have two lines that you can take on the back side of this flight. You can go straight or finish to the right. Either way, these guys are looking for a birdie here. Not too far. Just got to hit the first gap.
Yeah, you actually kind of want to play it a little shorter if you want the options. But if the aggressive play is to ride that left line pretty further down so that it does have that kind of notch cut out right at the basket.
And Micah and Joe are going to take that left side. And, I mean, they only have maybe 150 feet or so.
Just much tighter over there. Danny's leaks a little to the right, actually splitting to the right side of that V.
Whoa.
Getting lucky.
Yeah.
With a skip, too. Getting a little extra distance. Ooh.
Kind of a mister there from Danny.
Yeah, maybe a grip. It almost looked like a grip issue.
Great shot there from Jeremy. Should be looking at a birdie.
Pretty textbook there from Joe. Mika with the jumper.
This is Danny, probably maybe 100 feet out or so.
I love that. Great way to start. We'll take another look.
No change really needed
Kind of hit
either.
the backboard right into
Yeah.
the bucket.
Wow, what a start here for Danny.
What a birdie save.
Yeah, that's a good smile.
Love seeing that. You know, that's kind of the recovery you really couldn't really ask for anything better than that.
Ooh, weak side there, and an air there for Micah.
Dang, preventing the star frame.
Yeah, this came in as the middle of the pack 10th easiest hole. I thought it was going to play easier. It's only .02 under par. So.
I took a 3 on it.
My man.
All right, speaking of threes, let's jump into hole 3, par 4 at 444, one of the more iconic holes here on the course. We're getting it out early, folks. Iconic is the word. Narrow, long. It kind of weaves a little bit with this really cute green there at the end. Pretty much dead straight.
Wow. Joe Rovere showing us how to throw straight.
Turn a little bit. Oh,
Yeah,
maybe a little
I took-
tree love there, kind of pushing it closer to the center. Germ with the forehand just did not flip up for him, so he's going to be early, but in the middle.
Ooh,
It's good. Good kick.
That had some pace on
that
it.
was so close.
Looks like that kind of kept moving a little bit.
All right. Just outside the circle.
Even with the stopper in the fairway. Whatever that was. Ooh. Kind of pulled that one a little bit. Going to be in the rough.
And Joe making it look easy. Here's some fun stats about Joe Rovere. In 2022, when he got his first Master Worlds win, I believe his first, I have to double check, but the first of this three-peat, he won by 1 stroke. And then in Flagstaff, which you were there for that, he beat Kale by 1 stroke.
Mm-hmm.
And then last year, he won by 14 strokes in Emporia. So,
Type of golf.
set up for him. So, yeah, the man knows how to win and win when it's close, as well as blow the entire field out. So,
He's got his His ground's covered.
Yeah, we'll see which Joe we get. Danny now.
Preheating the oven. I love it when a local represents. Absolutely love it.
It's a good par. Joe just outside the bullseye. He's preheating the oven as well.
Hole 18 at Worlds, down by 1. It's gotta go in.
Unbelievable.
Yes.
All right, moving into hole 4. Par 4, 535 feet. This is usually 2 different holes. They combine them here, and it's tricky with this OB on this second shot. They also push the basket back, so that's not our basket. It's actually tucked over into the woods on the left, making it even more tricky. Just that extra 30 or 40 feet.
Yeah, really, the ideal landing zone is kind of
That was going OB. That was going OB by a mile.
but that your aim is kind of where that tee pad is to set yourself up for success.
And that takes a really bad kick there for Danny, and that's very unfortunate.
Ooh, stopped up early, but that should be far enough left to have an angle for the next.
Koling doing another sweeping forehand hyzer, missing those trees and
Thank you. Nice shot. Thank you.
basically right at the tee pad, like you said. Micah now needs to just lay up to the tee pad.
I like the play, though. Nice height to make sure it got there.
Yeah, that's a tough one there for Danny.
Smart play, though.
Yeah, he's just going to have to take his medicine and move on. Oh, that is very unfortunate. I didn't know what he hit. And that
Was the sleeve for
Yeah.
the basket. Dang, that's about. I think that got stopped up by the poles there
And that just goes to show, like, normally where the basket would be
for the other holes.
for the other holes, or like the other, probably traditionally where it usually is. Just that 30 feet makes a difference.
We didn't really talk about how tight the green is either. I mean, there's a lot of things that you can kind of chip off of.
Oh my God, Jim. Throw it, bro. Come on.
A little undercommitted from Jeremy, hitting the koozie.
Wow.
That's the type of putting we expect to see
Joe's
from
hungry.
Mr. Rovere. 3 in a row, getting himself a turkey. Tips his cap. The dude's a baller.
Yeah. If you're not familiar with Joe Revere, just ask anyone from Colorado.
Yeah,
who
get
he is.
learned. Yeah, everyone that he beats up on.
It's like, oh, yeah, I'm playing for second. As this came in, Derek, is the second hardest hole.
I believe it.
It was .31 over par. Only 11% of the field taking birdie. So very tricky.
All right, here on the 5th, par 4, 620. Pretty much a placement shot. You want to get as close to the drop zone as possible with it, so that you don't run the risk of going OB in that water hazard. A lot of trees, pretty narrow, so it's all about shot shaping as well.
That's kind of a tough lie there for Joe.
Yeah, too far left kind of pinches you off a tiny bit. That should be clean.
That just gets smacked down. Still a little bit of distance to get to the basket. Gonna need a full shot. And Danny catching a tree. Unfortunately going OB on that last hole, taking the bogey. Just miss it, and it does.
Laced up like shoes, dude.
Oh, and catching one of the last Guardian trees, but he's well inside circle two. This needs to miss the tree too. Oh,
Better than
Yeah.
kicking right.
man, just 1 foot to the left, and that's under the basket. His Joe was pinched, as I thought.
Very tough. Kind of really only had an option of going wide right, bringing that ceiling into play. I liked the height a lot, just maybe a little too left for Joe as we see Jeremy lining up, going high, giving it a chance.
What a birdie for the rewind.
Splitting the posts.
Oh, man.
Catching that backside of the bucket as well.
Man, these Helix have some big big backboards.
Extremely solid putt there for Danny. Great bounce back from him. Much needed to erase that bogey.
Thanks.
Bunch of birdies for the card, and we're kind of seeing flip-flop golf here from Joe. He's taking the birdies when they aren't, and then taking the pars when they are, taking the birdies.
Is it a slide flip-flop or a split toe?
I was thinking
Flip-flop.
split though. We're gonna move into hole 6. If you know BPR, you know this one. Par 3, 372 feet. Got the one tree you gotta miss. Just throw over it. Beautiful green.
That one, I want to say branch, but that's like a whole trunk pretty much.
Whole trunk that on a tree that fell. Yeah.
Oh my god.
As
Oh my god, it was so close.
that was
Whoa.
so close. I think that's worth another look.
Win. Oh, yes, seriously.
So I want
Slight Anheuser.
Oh my god. Oh my
Oh,
god. it was
wow.
So close.
Not doing him any favors on the backside there. Kind of giving him a tester with that drop off behind the basket from that angle now. Well, he could have been in the rough.
That should be okay.
Close shave.
Wow.
Back door.
Does that have the stability? Sure does.
Oh yeah.
Wow, great.
Joe making it look easy. Just gonna grab his birdie.
So this is a really interesting play. Kind of like a sky forehand roller.
Gets him almost pin high though.
Yeah. Mika actually said, he's like, if I had 1,000 tries, I would never do that. And Jeremy definitely was erring on the side of confidence.
Oh yeah, good
Just
catch
like that
there.
confident putt. But, you know, he instilled a little bit of slack for Mika and said, dude, you'd get it in 10 shots. 1,000's too much. That's
Jerem taking another bogey. So probably not the start he wanted to his Master Worlds so far. It's Joe rattling off another, now 4 down.
Yeah, I definitely understand, you know, like this is a major, obviously, but with the Pro Tour becoming so competitive and a lot more growing for that, you know, I understand that some players are trying to take advantage of both.
For the actual champion. Welcome to the PDGA Masters Disc Golf World Championships from beautiful Flagstaff.
Somehow I just like never satisfied with my work, or practice hard enough. I always have questions with myself, so I'm just gonna throw and hope for the best.
Another easy birdie for Owen Scoggins.
You're now a 3-time world champion in Flagstaff, Owen Scoggins.
All right, lucky number 7, par 4, 530. Pretty tight off the tee as we start sweeping over to the right. You got water hazard there on the left that we pass, and then as you approach the green, another OB pond as well. OB long. Backhand turnover for the righties.
Oh, that thing was moving.
Yeah, a little unfortunate there. Kind of, if it missed that one tree, he'd probably be another 40 to 50 feet further up. Joe just, coming in a little low.
A little low.
Ooh. Danny pulled that a little bit. Late flip allowed it, I think, to fight further than it may have had it stuck with the hyzer angle.
And Jeremy kind of just pulling one to the left and kind of gets through everything.
That was really low as well.
Wow, what a flight.
Money. Wow. The local putting up the highlights here, folks. I said it once and I'll say it again. If you're local and you get up to the coverage and you represent, it warms my heart.
Joe needs to lay up. See if he gives it a bid from across the pond. That probably was
Saved him,
good for him. I think that was moving, and you do have OB back by that wall.
With the addition to the wall, though, that is kind of nice. It's a little fast there with it being like kind of hard pack.
Yeah, there we go. Mika's going to have a death putt. Much different than what Joe has here, able to really give it a bid. Luckily, Mika's pretty close. Hey, that's a turkey for him. Second turkey of the round.
Enough turkey to go around. Everybody's leaving with a plate.
And kind of as expected, hardest hole in the course. One of the most picturesque ones here. Super iconic.
It's the most riddled with OB.
Yeah. 0.45 over par. So
4.5 over par.
yeah, almost half a stroke. Great scoring separator. Still 22 birdies, though. So
Wow, that's great.
great hole. So we're moving to hole 8, 325 feet. It's one you have OB short on the right side there that you have to look out for. But really, it's all about the green here. Slopes, and then you have the raised basket. All depending on where you land could pose whether you really have a look.
I think it's also an easy hole to kind of underestimate because it's slightly uphill. Makes you think that you have to really cook it, but you don't really. And when you put a little more effort into
Whoa.
it, you run the risk of kind of going off fairway, left or right.
Danny's kind of rolled into the tree line.
Oh, whoa.
And I mean, that was a foot or two from going in the basket as well.
Keep flipping. I just kind of gave up on him there at the end.
Long look for Mika and no bueno there.
I liked the height, though, a lot. That was like such a quick and smooth play from Danny that I almost missed the shot. Like,
Oh. Koling just catching the basket.
Joe picking some weeds over there in the rough.
Yeah. Good par save. This was the 5th easiest hole. Played 0.1 under par.
So a must-get birdie.
Yeah, it kind of starts, I would say, the trend of having to grab birdies because the back 9, I think, plays easier.
I would agree.
So you want to grab 8, and then 9 is like a must-get. A couple more must-gets on the back 9.
Yeah, and 9 isn't a slouch. Very easy to have a misplay here, but very narrow fairway. OB on both sides. It opens up here. But look how quickly the OB comes back into play behind the pin, wrapping all around that left side. You see smooth right hand, backhand turnovers a lot.
Too much sauce.
I would say another big play is to kind of do a big sky Annie out the top gap. So playing it like
Kind of
Joe is
like
doing
what Joe
right
did.
here.
Kind of split that V.
With
Oh, okay.
how quickly that disc dropped too.
Out of the hand quick and drop quick. Oh, my goodness.
And that stays in towns.
Jeremy. Oh.
And so
Man, that
Mika
was
running
anxious.
it like a madman, and unfortunately does find OB again. So this is going to be
So,
a rough one.
yeah, he's looking at a double. Jeremy, very lucky, probably very happy to walk away with a 3.
Sick 2 from Danny.
What? I feel like these baskets, you don't even need the chains. Just throw it in the bucket. But no, in all seriousness, that one's going to sting there for Micah. He's been putting up a pretty good front 9. And hopefully Koling's luck will turn around a little bit here after that fortunate break and start rattling off some birdies as Joe reaching 5. Pretty good scores there. Joe, the only one without a blemish on the scorecard. We take a look at the rest of the field. At this point, it seems like 5 is the hot round through 9. A lot of 4s.
Lefty Al.
A lot of competition, man.
And one more time, big shout out to Gateway Disc Sports for sponsoring this coverage. Really appreciate it. And a big shout out to all of you for watching. Thanks for being along for the ride. If you'd like to help support these videos, head on over to patreon.com/gatekeepermedia. We appreciate each and every one of you. Take care and see you on the back 9.
Bye-bye.